Well, here we go again. This will be part C. Opening back up a series that I already basically did. And I was watching some videos. I'm DeRoy Cruz, your life applications officer. And I got on my high horse last night and decided to say a few things more about atheism, even though I've already covered it in my series titled I Cannot Take Atheists Seriously Anymore. Okay. I never did take them seriously in the first place, but they had me shocked. You know, because I've never, in all my years of growing up in the church as a youngster, other people that I grew up in church with had that argument with atheists. I've never had someone come to me and said, "What proof do you have that God exists?" And I want to thank you, atheists. I said this in another video a while back. I want to thank you for waking me up because I was sleeping. I was getting too comfortable in my faith, in my comfort zone, and I was sleeping. You woke me up, atheists. You woke me up. I had to get out my Bible. As I said before, I had to get out my Bible, and I had to, correct myself before I start yelling and screaming back at you. As I said before in my series that I just completed, well, I completed a while back, last year, I believe. I'm going to say again in this series, this short series, it will be, that you're right. There is no physical evidence that shows the existence of God. But why should we be so bothered by that? As I said in other videos, we Christians, we are the physical evidence. If we let our light shine among men that they may see our good works and glorify our Father in heaven, which a lot of the church today, these so-called apologists, are not doing that. They're getting caught up in things, and then when the atheists run their mouths, then they want to come and defend themselves. Like little children trying to explain why they stole the candy, or whatever. I don't feel I have to apologize for my faith. Because first of all, playing your game with you. Just playing your little game right with you. Let's say secularism is the king. Secularism is the kingpin. That means that if I want to believe in something that doesn't necessarily fall in line with what somebody else believes, I can do that. Okay? Let's say graduating from high school was a law. I did that. Let's say going to college was a law. I did that. Okay? Obviously, going to high school and graduating, okay, and going to college does not keep one from being a believer. I know you're trying to make that keep someone from being a believer. That's why you're going to all these college campuses, atheists, and you're saying all this stuff. Okay? But it's not going to keep someone that has a desire to know. Someone that has a desire to really know the Lord. That's not going to keep them from knowing the Lord because you went to the college campuses and you sounded really good. But my problem with you atheists, like I always say, I'm not looking at whether or not your propaganda, and that's all it is, your propaganda uh, really sounds like it has any legitness to it. That's not my concern. My concern that kicks you in the butt is that you can go out there and you can go to college campuses and you can go here and there and push your dogma. And it is dogma because you said out of your own mouth. It is your religion and it is your dogma because you said out of your own mouth that this is or used to be a Christian nation. And you're honest that you're going and trying to snatch that away from everybody. You're trying to unravel everybody, deconvert them from those Christian beliefs that plague this country, as you put it. So therefore, on a secular level, before we even get to the Bible, before we even get to any church theology or religion, I have a right. If I want to believe something different than you, I have that right. So let's get that out of the way. I have that right. And at the end of the day, okay, if believing what I believe works for me, okay, let me say this real quick. At the end of the day, if believing what I believe works for me, I'm going to still be believing what I believe. This is how people became atheists, because it wasn't working for them. It's always worked for me. See, I left the church. This is what makes an atheist the biggest hypocrite right there. I'm the one that makes the atheist the biggest hypocrite because I'm living proof that this is all about hate and scorn and bitterness and a bunch of words that have nothing to do with morality. For example, I left the church because I got angry at people in the church. One of the reasons was my black church members, a certain number of them, not all of them. Let me get that straight, atheists. In any church you go to, it ain't all of them. Okay? It ain't never all of them. Even in the worst churches in the world, it ain't all of them. And it ain't all Muslims either. Even though I don't agree with Muslims, I'll say that for them. It ain't all of them. Just like it ain't all atheists that go out on the street and pick fights with Christians. It ain't all of y'all. So let's get that out of the way. But I'm living proof. Because I left the church, because I got angry at people in my church, because a certain number of them I found out, okay, they didn't like my white friend. Now let me tell you something that you atheists fail to appreciate here. I left that church because they didn't like my white friend. Okay? And my white friend came into my life. I mean, you know, I had a lot of black friends at that time. But see, by them not liking my white friend, atheists, this is where you need to wake up. That opened my eyes to a lot of things that were going on in the church that needed to be condemned. It wasn't a matter of, becoming an atheist because they don't like my white friend. Oh my God, there's racism going on in the church. I'm going to leave and just become an atheist. No, it didn't work out that way for me like that. That's not what happened. But I did backslide. It's in the Bible. You never mention that word. That's not one of your atheist words, but it is a biblical term. Backslide. I did backslide. I did leave the faith. And I told the Lord I was done. Now, in order for me to tell the Lord that I was finished with him, I had to believe him in the first place, right? I told the Lord I denounced my faith. I don't want to have no parts of you. And you know what? It's funny because is it a coincidence or what is it? That everything that I never went through, I went through when I left my faith. Everything that I never yet went through, the minute I walked away from the faith, I went through those things. Those very things that I feared, I actually went through them. It was like God was saying, okay, you don't like me? Let me show you what it's like if I leave you alone. He left me alone. Let me tell you. I don't think it was a coincidence that I went through the things that I went through. My life was on the line. I mean, I had so many people want to punch me. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between somebody. There's a difference when you lose your glow and people get the wrong idea about you. Or they think that you're a victim when you're really not a victim. You're just being nice. There's a difference between that and, you know, I'm losing myself. There's a difference between people attacking you because you lost your glow. Okay? And people attacking you because you're a Christian. There's a big difference. You think it proves that God doesn't exist. No, they're different. They're actually two totally different things. Okay? But I left the church. I left God. I didn't just leave the church. I got on my knees and I told God I was done. I wanted to be free. I felt that He was holding me up. And the hypocrisy in the church, you know, the people that didn't like my white friend. Okay, we're supposed to be forgiving white people for slavery, but they didn't like my white friend. They told me, "What you think, you white? You know, why are you hanging out with him for?" I says, because me and him have become good friends. And, you know, you need to stick with your own. I says, well, I do love my own as well. But hold on, young people, we're Christians here, aren't we? And they say, oh, yeah, we Christians, but you got to stick with your own. Well, hold up. Where's that in the Bible? See, even today, the Judaic people try to act like it's all about them wherever they tread their foot and whatever they believe. But the truth of the gospel is, and this is where atheists are confused about slavery and everything else. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, there were people, there were people of the slaughter that they slaughtered. There were people that were victims, casualties of war, and so forth. And there were refugees, okay, that came into the Israelite camps. They came into the nations when they became nations, and, you know, or should I say, when they had their own cities and so forth like that, and their own, you know, tribes and all like that. There were people who came in. Those were called sojourners. Okay, they came in and the Israelites took care of them and showed them their way. But if they didn't want their way, they had to either turn around and go back out or become a slave. Slavery was a way of weaning out the underclass, okay, and the outcast. Let me say that again. Slavery was a way of weaning out. I'm not talking about black slavery. Neither am I talking about Hebrew Israelite slavery. I'm talking about when the Israelites practiced slavery, God's people practiced slavery. See, slavery in the Bible, when you're talking about whips and chains and people in cages like animals, okay, you're talking about pagan slavery. But slavery being legal amongst the Israelites was actually the same thing we do with our jail system today. It's the same thing we do with our welfare system today. And even some of these jobs where you got to go and become a temp in order to get hired. Okay? Where you got to have a background check and all this stuff and go on probation for months before you even get accepted. And even after that, there's no proof that you're accepted. There's no promising that you're accepted. Well, slavery in the Bible, when you talk about slavery within your own family and within your own people, you slaving your own people and those that have come into your camp, those that have come into your part of the world or whatsoever, okay? It's pretty much the same everywhere else in the world today. But, these atheists make a big deal about, slavery in the Bible. They think that's one thing they got to crush us with. Let me tell you something. And you can get it all over the world that I said this. We need to practice some godly forms of slavery today. Okay? See, if the Germans weren't so pagan, okay, and understood what Germany is about, okay, now, what Germany is supposed to be about, they would have never let somebody else come in there, multiculturalize, and take them as hostages, take them, okay, as a ransom. And that's what's going on right now. These people come in, you know who I'm talking about, and they come in and sabotage these poor Germans. Looks like to me God is still punishing them for what they allowed to go on in their part of the world against the Jews. Seems to me that God's still punishing them for that. But anyway, I wanted to clear that up. We need some slavery to go on right now here in America. There's some people that ain't got no business being considered citizens in this country. I'm going to get real biblical right here. I'm going to get, I'm not being nice. I'm going to say it like it is. There should be some slavery going on, biblical slavery, not pagan slavery, biblical slavery. It's good. Should be going on right now in this nation. Because there's people that live among us every day, looking down their nose of us, and they ain't even supposed to be citizens. You don't just walk in here and sign papers and become a citizen. Do you understand our way? Do you understand what we're all about? You want our help. You think we owe you something. Okay, that goes both ways. That goes both ways. So, what's it going to be? You accept our way? Okay? But if you don't, you can park your car somewhere else. America is not a free parking ground. Free for all. And that's what you atheist liberals, getting into politics now, forgive me, are doing. You want to crush the world of religion. You want to free the world of religion. But, yet you think that America, okay, is a parking lot for everybody in the world to park for free. Whatever you got, just bring it in here and park it. And if you bring 1,000 cars and want to park them, okay, just go ahead on and park them over there, okay? And then when other people come, they don't have no place to park. The people that already are parked there got to move over and be bumping each other so that you can park. It's not right. It's not right. It's not fair. I just did a video on this. I'm throwing that in there. let me get on with this. One of the things that is really insulting my intelligence and making me laugh my stomach into pain is this whole idea that atheists are qualified to talk about morality. Are you kidding me? Listen, let me help you out a little bit, atheists, in a nice, loving, godly way. Let me help you out. Stop saying the word moral. You don't know what that word means. Look it up in the dictionary. That ain't been tampered with by atheism. But look it up in the older dictionaries. That's a biblical term. It's not a secular term. Okay? I just deleted a video where I went through all this. I'm going to try to keep it short. I might have to put some of this in part, what is this, C? I'm going to have to put some of it in part D, I'm sure. But morality was created by the Jews. See, where do you go to understand how morality was formed? You can't go to evolution. Evolution is not the study of morality. Neither is science. Science is the atheist god. They need to find a statue. Well, they do have one. I think it's the one where the guy's holding the globe. Y'all should learn how to bow to that because that's your god. Okay? But science, the god of the atheist religion, doesn't talk about morality. Atheists are looking at Christians and making this up as they go along. Where in your culture, in your religion, your atheist religion, I'm going to call it a religion because anytime you belong to something, okay, that goes to war with religion or other religions or other Christians or whatever, that is a religion. That is a religious spirit. Okay? Look it up. Okay? Other than your propaganda. Other than your propaganda. Look it up. See, you go out there and you collect stuff. And this is my thing. Where do you get this stuff? And you say it's evidence against us. Where are you getting it? You're telling me, basically, that the people that put Christ on the cross, they wrote their own stories about who Christ was. The very people that put him on the cross. Many of them repented. They didn't write nothing. Or what they did write, they joined the faith and wrote from the faith. But those that put the poor guy on the cross, okay, or should I say those that put our Savior on the cross, they also wrote. Where'd you get your dogma? Where are you getting this propaganda from? See, this is my problem. This is the thing that debunks the whole atheism thing. Not only atheism, but Muslims and anybody else that attacks. Where is it? I need one. I know I got one around here somewhere. Where is it? 1 second. I need one. This is the thing. And I am going to go into a part D because I'm tired of these 50-minute videos. So I'm going to go to a part D. Stay tuned. But anyway, God's holy word, when it was brought to this country, it was the best thing that ever happened to those that became Caucasian. I don't even think they were white people back then. I think they were something else. Today we call them Caucasians. We call them white folks. But I believe when they discovered, or when they all nestled into this country and supposedly took it from the Indians, I don't think them was white folks. I think they had a little bit more melanation in their skin, if I said that right. But whoever they were, they brought it into this country. And where did they get it from? You know why they had to leave where they left and come and bring it here and try to find? Why do you think? Oh, God help me. Why do you think that they had to find some territory that wasn't occupied enough in order to practice Christianity? Because they were already persecuted. The Catholic Church had taken over England, where the Bible came from, where it was first published in English. The Catholic Church took over, okay, and was persecuting Christians, burning them at the stake. This is why Catholicism and Christianity are two totally different things. I already said this 100 times. Okay? Even though we allow them to call themselves Christian, and they are a little bit more watered down. You know, they're a little bit more easier to chew today than yesterday, because, you know, back in the day, Catholicism was like Islam. I mean, they could hang you and crucify you upside down for anything. You know, it was like Sharia law going on in the Catholic Church back in the day. But that doesn't erase the fact of what the origin of the Catholic Church is. It was never Christian. Peter was never Catholic. There's no way he could have been your first pope. I'm sorry. If you actually line up the scripture, everything from his race and culture before he became a Christian, all the way to what he preached about and against when he became a Christian. You understand, there's no way, from careful study, okay, and it doesn't take that long to figure it out, that Peter was never any pope. So the first immorality of the atheists, why you're such a joke when you talk about morality, is the fact that you didn't do your homework before you chose the method that you wanted to use to crush Christianity. And you go against people's right to believe what they believe. You're trying to replace Christianity with your own religion, and that's exactly what it is. Okay? If you weren't religious, you wouldn't be at war with Christians. You would be sitting there doing like this. Oh, I just don't want to be a Christian. I just don't believe in the existence of God. Why are these Christians picking on me? No. You're bringing the fight to us. You're coming to us. Like I did that story in part B about that young man who admitted that he was wrong for jumping up there and interrupting their peace and quiet by preaching the gospel because somebody else was already talking. But he stepped in there and started preaching, and they told him he was wrong. He said, I'm sorry, I'm just preaching the gospel. They said, well, we need you to leave. And he says, well, wait a minute, I have a right to be here. And they started saying all this other stuff, and he wasn't hearing that. But the cop came and he respected the cop. The cop told him nicely, and he spoke to the cop nicely. He did not, okay, he did not retaliate or be stubborn. He said, "I'm sorry, I apologize, officer." And the officer told him he could come back. The atheist tried to tell him that he couldn't. See what I mean? The officer told him he could come back. "Oh, you're free to come back, just do it on another day." The atheist tried to tell him something different. As soon as the cop left, the atheist wouldn't let the guy leave. They wanted to fight. "Oh, you don't want me preaching the gospel, but you want to get it on camera and have all these people see you persecute me. You beat me verbally or whatever way, because you're under the assumption that this will teach people, this will help people see truth." Is that the way you get truth? By that kind of agitation and that kind of upset? War like that against someone who, seems to feel that he has the truth. I was seeing someone last night. I'm closing. Last night, I caught a guy again smoking that was one of our employees. Caught him smoking in the back. And they don't want any smoking anywhere near the property. How many atheists do you think smoke? Just off the top of your head. Every time I go to a video, of atheists having a debate, if they're not in a coliseum or a church, they're all smoking. The only reason why they're not smoking is because because they're not allowed to smoke there. They can't have a debate if they're going to break the rules and smoke. But everywhere you look, people smoke, and people are always willing. I did a whole video on this, a small series on this. People are willing to lose their jobs to smoke cigarettes. And I caught a guy smoking last night, and I told another guy, I says, "What is so hard about walking about 5 more feet to light your cigarette? Okay? It's a beautiful day outside. Why does this guy have to smoke in front of the non-smoking sign? Why can't he smoke 5 feet right over there?" It's like he just wants to break the rules because he don't like rules. The guy asked me, what did he ask me? Not to worry about it. Nobody worries about it. The other officers, they don't worry about it. I says, hey, I get paid to worry about it. I do worry about it. And then you got this other guy. He's watching this on camera, but it's don't worry about it. It's okay. Regardless of what the government says, regardless of what the Drug Health Administration says, regardless of why they started doing this in the first place, putting these signs all over the place to say don't smoke. All you people that want to tell me that morality is not biblical, morality is relative, or whatever. You want to disrespect the laws of your own land, and then you want to preach to me about what's moral and what isn't. My poop is more moral than you. Okay? Really. It's a joke. Okay? I'm closing right there. I'm going to close right there. because I'll never get through. I got 2 more pages to do here. Matter of fact, I haven't even said anything on my first page. You know, maybe a little summary of it, but not as much of, well, I can skip some stuff because I kind of said it within what I just said. But until part D, atheists, get a life. God bless you. I will talk to you soon.